We gonna get it going. We gonna get it going. That could be my intro. Hey, Bank 60s. Rocking a little Scourge of War Waterloo. Here it comes. Can't wait for it. Boom. Norbsoft Dev, Scourge of War Waterloo. Bank 60s with you here. What is happening? I hope you're well. I appreciate you watching. This is going to be... I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time. I want to share about this game, this excellent game. Scourge of War Waterloo. This is the collector's edition, as you can see here. 19th century combat modeled at its best. Total War. A lot of folks play that, right? Flash, bang, quickie, 30-minute in and out, fight a battle. Okay, I'm into that too. But this here is, as far as I can tell, the cornerstone game in what is a very underwhelming genre right here. Norbsoft Dev, Scourge of War, Waterloo. Norbsoft Dev makes other games that are similar. The Scourge of War series will be familiar to plenty of gamers. Mostly Civil War battles up to this point. But here we have Napoleonic simulations, and there have been add-ons where you play more than just the Battle of Waterloo. You can play Quatre Bras, Ligny, Wavre, and all of the major conflicts that happened during the end of the Napoleonic period there, the very end with the 100 Days campaign. And that's what we're going to launch into here in this video. Bank 60s right here. I'm going to ride along with you. It's going to be fun. It's going to take a long time. It's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. I'm hoping I can show you some really fun gameplay. I've gotten pretty good at this game, learned the controls. Let's get into our single-player menu here. So we're going to go in here, and we're really just going to get right to it, man. We don't want to mess around, huh? Straight to the full battle of Waterloo. Battle de Mont Saint-Jean. I butchered the French accent there. As I would. As I would. All right, so full battle. Now, maybe a little bit of background for anyone watching who doesn't already know. Napoleon has marched north. He's already won a couple of battles. You could call them maybe not quite victories, you might say. But at any rate, he got about half of his overall strength here on the battlefield of Waterloo, maybe 75,000 men or so. Another 30,000 who are off to the east. They're like way out over here fighting the Prussians, who are allied with the British and Dutch Belgian forces, the Anglo-allies positioned here at Waterloo to defend against Napoleon's push to Brussels. As a matter of fact, Napoleon was trying to find his way to Brussels. He was actually trying to invade north, take that key supply center, urban center, maybe work his way to the coast where Antwerp could have also been taken. I believe that's what he was after. At any rate, was on a mission to destroy this Allied army. There you have it. The mission is to destroy the Allied army. We're going to be fighting the 9-hour full battle. Historic. And we'll read the situation here. You spent the morning surveying the ridge to the north while waiting for the ground to dry from the previous day's rains. Lots of rain the days before Waterloo. The only enemy forces visible are some scattered infantry units and artillery along the ridge. Wellington is foolish to pick a position with his back to the woods. The opportunity to destroy him and continue north to Brussels is before us. On the way to Brussels, of course. So I will have at my disposal 4 full infantry corps. In this battle, we have Durland's corps here, Lobau's corps here, the young and old guard with Drouot here. Riley's corps is the 2nd Corps with 3 divisions here. Kellermann's cavalry. Riley's got some cavalry out on the flank. Milhaud's cavalry here, heavy cavalry. And then there's also some excuse me. There's also some guard cavalry down in this area that we will utilize also over here. It's going to be a long battle. It's going to be a long haul. And there's more to know. Here we go. Gameplay. You command the entire French army for the entire Battle of Waterloo. There are objectives along the Allied line that represent the historical attack points, but the plan of attack is completely up to you. Will you follow the historic course and begin the battle at Hougamont, or will you plan your own attack and try and change history? Events should unfold as they did historically, but with a few possible surprises, and I've played through this scenario a number of times. There are some surprises that come up. I'll kind of let that play out in this scenario as it will. Depending, you might get some reinforcements from another corps coming on the field. The Prussians always come on. Of course, you have to deal with that threat late in the battle for those who know about Waterloo. And I do also think that there's a chance that Hill's corps of the British Anglo-Dutch army could approach from this direction. So, kind of on to the battle itself and what the plan of action is going to be for us. We're fighting the full Battle of Waterloo as the commander of the entire army, and I think the plan here really will be not to reinvent the wheel in any sense here. We've got some high ground here where the Brits and the Anglo-Allied forces are going to put artillery here. Here, they're going to have artillery here and here, guarding this approach, guarding this, and basically guarding this whole field right here. So, one thing that's important to know about this game, and one of the things that makes it so great, is that it's a points system. And it's a point system that it's unique in that you're capturing points on the battlefield that are important to capture, like you would in many traditional war games. It's just that there's an additional layer of points that are taken away or allocated based on casualties. If you are losing a lot more men than casualties you are forcing upon the enemy, then you're going to lose a lot of points. So there's an incentive in order to win the game to try and keep your guys alive as best you can as you're paying attention to everything that's going on in the field. It's a challenge, no doubt about it. It's a lot of stuff to keep your eyes on, especially when the battle gets, hectic all up and down the line, if that happened. When you're playing as the French in this particular scenario, you have the ability to control the pace of a lot of things. For whatever reason, the Brits don't do. They will counterattack. I've had that happen before, but a lot of times they'll leave a lot of troops kind of right where they are and just let you control the pace of the battle. It's historic to a degree. The French were holding the initiative. they were kind of in control of the engagement where the action was going to be happening, because Wellington was content just to, the Duke of Wellington, Arthur Wellesley, was content just to sit on this ridgeline here and let Napoleon just bang away at him. So what we'll do is we'll start historically with an attack on Chateau de Hougamont, and we'll just take it, and then we will see what it looks like, because there will be a victory point that pops up, an objective that pops up here. There will be an objective here in Hougamont, and then there will be another one that comes up here. As for how much they're worth, I don't remember. But what I know is that you take this, then this, then this, and then the main Mont Saint Jean objective comes open, giving you the opportunity to gain a lot of points if you can push that far. So historically, the idea was always in Napoleon's mind to try and what you call gain the center position, right? You're trying, since the Prussians are fighting over here and trying to make their way to the battlefield, you're trying to gain the position on them to put your troops in between the British and the Prussians coming in. And so that's why Napoleon intended for d'Erlon's attack on the British left to really be the crushing blow on Wellington's army, because that's the side of the British and Anglo-Dutch army that needed to be broken really to have a decisive impact. What I'm considering, I'm as I'm thinking about it, I think I will most likely stick with that plan. It spreads you out a little thin when the Prussians do attack, and it leaves you a little exposed. But if I get this extra corps coming on the field, and I've smashed I've gone about splitting the enemy army in two, I do think that will probably end up leading to a victory. Now, there's every potential. Like, there was one time I fought this all the way through, and I ended up with something on the order of 60,000 points. And again, that's both objectives that you are taking on the field as well as casualties that you're taking and committing. And that can happen. I've also had it where I didn't do such a great job, and I ended up, by the time it's, approaching 7 o'clock at night, you're only at 10,000 or close to it. And you see here, I have to score at least 10,000 to make a draw. And that won't necessarily be easy. So I think we'll probably stick with history. Now, the decision then will be, okay, we're going to utilize Riley's corps first, right? Then, do we assign the middle division to lead the attack, or do we assign the furthest division on our left to begin the attack? That's always an interesting and tricky question, because it plays to the idea of, okay, if I'm going to try and take this objective and then follow up, what are the chances that I'm going to want to maybe take these two divisions and just attack straight at the ridgeline here? Now, with artillery here, it's unlikely that I'll want to do that. But if they've got a lot of artillery, there's something that I've never tried, that I haven't tried yet, is to take some of Kellerman's, maybe his heavy or light cavalry, and bring them out to run these guns off or capture them, maybe take a division of cavalry out, swing it out through this field, and knock out the artillery that's up here. Now, there's going to be some infantry that would form square that probably would blunt the advance, but at least get the artillery out, then put these two divisions in a position to where they can move across the field without taking too many casualties along the way, and hit the forces that are here and maybe achieve some kind of a breakthrough where we can swing through, take this, and then clear our way heading toward Mont Saint Jean, or here, the final objective that'll be worth a lot of points. I think we could achieve a breakthrough here on the left. Now, of course, it puts us in a weird position if we get Hill's Corps coming in from the west. So I'm going to be a little cautious. I'm going to wait to make the decision. I'm going to stick with history for now. I'm most likely going to use the middle division to begin the attack on Hougamont. Try to have it secured by the historical 1:30 deadline. Probably get going with Durland's Corps on schedule or maybe a little bit late. Try to take Papilot over here on the right. And then once we've launched this attack, maybe come and hit Lyson will be another objective. So we'll want to most likely take that before we actually begin the main assault. Probably want to take that before we begin the main assault. But at that point, I think that's when we'll have the decision to make about what really to do with the rest of these troops. If we lead the advance on Hougamont with this middle division, it frees up this division here to move on this objective, to move off in this direction and push. So if we begin the attack with this division, it kind of folds up our left, but it frees up these two divisions to help with Durland's push on the right. So I think I'm going to start the attack with these divisions here, aiming for Hougamont, and then we'll make the strongest push kind of off in this direction. And then we'll hope for the best as far as reinforcements. And we'll deal with the Prussians as they come up. We'll have cavalry. We'll have Lobau's 6th Corps. We'll have the old and young guard. Should be able to handle the Prussians coming on the field. So that sounds like a plan of action. And we'll go ahead and launch the scenario. Every now and again, I'll have to get up and go grab something. You'll have to forgive me for taking the time. So, here we go. Courier message from our Chief of Staff. Your dispatch to Grouchy ordering him to hurry and join the main army has been sent. The infantry is in good spirits and is ready to attack on your orders. And of course, this note here, a lot of Scourge of War players experience with this. All of your officers are on take charge from the AA, and the reason they do that is just to make sure that these formations of troops, which are considered, calculated, they're that way for a reason, so that those don't break up and these units go willy-nilly everywhere. When the generals are controlled by the AI, they tend to do some strange things on their own if left to their own devices for too long. Now, as was historically the case, you can see here the French Grand Battery on the opposite ridge to the British, getting ready to roll out those cannons and get the bombardment underway to soften up that right that British left for the main advance. That's one of the reasons why we're going to stick with history here, because the guns are already there. It makes sense. But one thing we are going to do is we're going to maximize. We are going to maximize firepower here. We've got several guns, as you can see, that are not on the line. They're below the ridge crest. And so the AI essentially says, well, it's not worth it to unlimber the guns right now because they're not going to be able to see to shoot anything. Okay, well, so I've detached the half of the section, half of this battery. I've kept the other half attached to the commander of the battery. And I'm just going to move that commander up. And we're going to just get that battery formed up just a little further forward. I'll tell you. Left, just and now they'll be in a better position to do some shooting. We'll go ahead and we'll reattach all these fellas. Get all these guys back. Those guys are good to go. And we're going to do the same thing with these fellas. We're going to detach these two guys. They're already in action. You can see here they're bombing away on this Lysong fortress right there. Let's see, there's the objective. So we've done that detachment. We'll take the officer here and we'll roll those cannons up. We'll roll those cannons up to the ridge. Let's go. Let's fight this fight. Get these guys in the action. And we got a couple of make sure that we've got these guys back. That's the battery once more. Boy, buddy. Sometimes I just like to sending them, sending them. You see here we're taking some fire. Right here, that little dust. The graphics aren't a whole lot to write home about. Overall, when it comes to the effects. But there you have that. We've got ourselves plenty of guns in action. Make sure everybody's in. Come on. Let's get everybody in. Small British troops there guarding Lysong. And there you have that. We've got our first corps ready to go. But as stated prior, we need to move to the left. So here we go. And I tell you what, before I make my way all the way, this is Bashley's division. Yes, Bashley is. Here's his artillery. We're gonna move them up right around here. Right there. And we'll get more guns in action on this side of the field. That's what we see. Enemy battery, enemy battery. More enemy guns. I'm going to try to at least be able to match them. Here we go, off to the left. The far left. This is, if you remember the map that we were looking at, we have that center division that I was talking about. And we have the division that's on the right for the Second Corps here, Bashley's division. And off to the left we go. We're 5 minutes in. 5 minutes into the fight. We haven't advanced just yet, but we're about to. Here we go. So we'll begin with Soy's brigade. This is not historical, by the way. Now, let's go take a look. And just put eyes on the enemy here. See how we look. Okay, yeah, it's the forces. In another scenario, there's more of them. But as you can see, we have 2 whole brigades, the whole division here at our disposal to start this attack as we've chosen. We're not going to need it. As I said before, you're trying not to commit troops to getting shot where you don't need to. By the way, here are 2 really good British foot guard units that are probably going to be a little bit of a problem at the beginning. Not too big a one, though. So we'll get started with Soy here. We're going to move him out with his brigade, and we're going to just go ahead and form him up just a little further forward so that we can get started with the deployment of our skirmish line, which is what we're going to do. We'll do double line. And that'll fit perfectly. Gosh, sometimes I even impress myself. Sometimes I even impress myself. French troops moving up now. I even like to try to treat them like they're my guys. I get down in, looking in close here. We got our 2nd line regiment, 1st line regiment, the 3rd battalion of the 2nd line. These are regular troops. This is a good brigade to be attacking with, by the way. So, in this position, one thing to be wary of is the fact that we are under the mouth of these guns on this ridge right here, and they can stare us right down and shoot at us. So we're going to go ahead, split off some skirmishers here from the 1st line, 1st battalion. Then we're going to go ahead and lay it down. Those skirmishers, we're going to send them right up in there. We're going to send more. We're going to lay it down. No use just having guys stand there and get killed. Now, they may lay there and get killed, but those artillerymen aren't going to be able to see him as well and to shoot at him. So that's what you want to try to set up for your guys as often as you can. Positions where they're not getting their head shot off. So go ahead, lay low with everybody. And then what we're doing here really is we're just establishing a front line as we begin the main action. Here we go. Battle is now officially joined at Waterloo. It's exciting times, everybody, I have to tell you. Now, like I said, there's one thing I need to mention that's important, is that, like I said before, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And you have to remember that part of it. It's a long battle, and this is second by second, minute by minute. I try to imagine as best I can battle happening at the pace that it was really happening. The guys, you know, loading and firing, and they're hiding behind trees and doing all the things. You know, combat can last over a course of hours as the troops take cover, fire, ammo, you know, or reload fire, miss a lot. Bullets didn't hit very often in this time period. You know, if you aimed at something, you weren't always hitting it. And so combat was just kind of, you know, ambient, like you hear now, guns firing all over the place. There's thousands of guys standing around, or hundreds of guys in this particular case. But right now, here we go. Skirmish units that are just kind of spread out, fighting these units here that are deployed in the woods. These are your Dutch Belgian units, Nassau Usingen Regiment, little detachment from there. We've got some British units here. And then, so we've joined the fight here, and we can kind of see, you know, the casualties piling up. But now, with each one of these units, we can just kind of start to see how we're doing, right? So here's where we start looking at these numbers that are in these boxes. 100 guys, they've killed 10, they've taken 0 casualties. So these guys are doing good. These guys are doing good. We're going to go ahead and advance them. They're doing good. These guys, they're not quite getting the best of it, but it's an equal firefight between them and this unit here, this unit here. These guys are doing good too. So we'll go ahead and advance them. And all we're doing there is we're just gaining ground. We're just gaining ground here, and we've got time. You know, the Prussians are coming, but as far as I know, too, we've got reinforcements coming for ourselves. And I'd rather allow enough time for them to come so that we can destroy the Allied army like it says that we're supposed to. So here we go. So over here, this skirmish unit, not doing quite so hot, and they've got those guns staring down at them. Not sure if they're actually taking hits from those guns, but I think they might be. They certainly are taking some heavy fire from these foot guards that are right here. So I think what I want to do to increase my advantage on that side is go ahead and let's get going with one of our line battalions here. Screw it. 3rd Battalion, or 2nd Battalion, 2nd Line Regiment. We're going to bring them up. We're just going to bring them up right behind our skirmishers right here. That's what you're trying, it's really what you want to do in this game. I think it models that pretty well overall. Usually what you would do is you would get your skirmishers set out in front of the main line, and the distances, of course, are not to scale necessarily here, but not true to scale. You would have your skirmishers, you know, out ahead of the line. They're spread out, but they, you know, they soak up a lot of the enemy fire because they're easier targets, or at least the enemy thinks they are. And they soak up a lot of those misses that I was talking about before. Now, some of the bullets, the wayward bullets, end up zipping through and hitting some of the guys in the line battalion behind. But what you really want is to bring that line battalion up, get it nice and snug behind this line of skirmishers. The skirmishers continue pelting the enemy with accurate fire from cover. And here you can see that we're actually starting to do quite a bit better against this unit right here. We'll let that line battalion move up in a position to get fire. We should be good on the left. Let's go back over here and take a look at that. Yeah, one dead to 22 casualties on the enemy. They're starting to really tilt the balance in favor in this area here. And I like to try to keep the guys in nice, rigid formations, nice open fields of fire, and able to. So here's the deal. This is interesting. So I'm going to point this out. So these guys are just standing here right now, and the reason why is because the nearest unit is 100 and okay, that's 161. I thought that's like 150. So they're not quite close enough. So here's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to push with our skirmish line. We're going to keep our troops in line. We're just going to march forward just a little bit further. See, they didn't want to advance, so I have to take command of the skirmishers to get them to keep pushing. And here we go. Now we're at that 151 yards number, which is literally just 1 yard outside of our range. The anticipation is killing me. I want to get those guys in the firing range because they're going to do some damage. Oh my god. And it looks like we've cleared the enemy just about in this area. Here we go. Let's go ahead and move up here. Let's do the same here. Let's go ahead. We could probably turn and face this direction here. And we finally pushed forward far enough, I think, to give ourselves enough room to get in the action with our battalion. Here we go, boys. Open it up. Open it up. Yeah, we're starting to lose more men in this skirmish here. Fast. They're standing fast here. They are standing slow. But now, this volume of fire is just going to be too much for them. Most likely be good over here on the left. See, you can see this too. I have to credit. There's another YouTube guy called Dark Rob. Really great teacher of how the mechanics of this game really work. See here, all the shots going out, committing, causing casualties. All the shots coming in, causing casualties, but to this skirmisher unit here. This battalion isn't taking any casualties. They're just causing casualties. That's what you want. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to advance. A little further. All right, that unit runs. We're just going to keep it. We're going to keep it moving. We'll keep this line battalion in range. We've got these skirmishers now here. We're going to move them right into this brush right here. And I have to take a quick pause to go to restroom. Oh, you were very patient there. That was a long wait time. Sorry. Okay. We're back. We're back to it. We're fighting here. All right, so we got those skirmishers moving up. Battle of Waterloo continues. We've not run these guys all the way off just yet. We got one unit Dutch Belgians there. That British unit's run off. All right. We're not messing around with these guys. We'll go ahead and let them march there. That's another thing. I'm going to try to keep you guys well rested. And then so we'll go ahead and just check Bowden, or rather Soy. See how the brigade's doing. Doing good. We've lost a few guys. I want to check and see how. So, are we getting bombed? Doesn't look like it. No losses. Might be getting bombed back here. No. Alright. So, we're in a position now where we can begin taking this actually taking this objective, because we have, once we get 1 or 2 more battalions down there, we're going to have enough troops. You have to have a certain number of troops, and then you have to have a leader. So Soy's brigade gets the honor of taking the woods. His brigade's doing the fighting. Soy's going to head down. And, like I say, take the honors. We're going to send the rest of... Who wants it? Who wants it? Yeah, we'll send the rest of the first line regiment down. And we'll just get them set up here. Get them ready for for the push to come. Because there will be quite a push. Get these guys set up in the assault column, and we'll bring them in. In fact, let's switch that. Actually, let's not get too crazy here by making units crisscross. That's a little silly. How are we doing over here? Left of the Chateau. Foot guards still standing fairly strong. Woo! Man. Skirmishers taking it. But, see the line battalion behind them. Doing just fine. Keep the advance on here. We'll advance with... I love this angle. See, I think this is actually maybe more true to history when it comes to the way that it went in Civil War battle. I'm not so sure Napoleon advances like happen like this, although it would make sense. Fire. There you go. Okay. We have run them off. Now, we're in a position where we can hold up, go off, take command, and we'll just rejoin the unit. Now, we need to get moving into the woods, because we don't want to get bombed on. That's all that's going to happen is if we stay there. These cannons, oh man, this is going to be bloody terrible. So we're going to have them just go. We're going to run. We're not going to waste any time. We're not going to slow march it and just get shot at. We're just going to have these guys. So they're going to make their way into the woods. Take a position there. We've got this fight ongoing with these, I believe, Dutch Belgians that just won't go away. we're going to do what we did before. And I think we're just going to have to overwhelm these guys. We'll just go ahead and bring this line up right there. We'll go ahead and we'll let those guys form into assault column on the way. See, this is one of those nitpicky things when it comes to me playing this game. I like for it to be authentic to the degree that the troops even move like they would have in history. They would have marched in line as often as possible so they could be ready to open up a full frontal volley on the enemy as often as possible. Rest of the brigade, come on down. We're basically gonna be, we're gonna camp out in these woods until it's time to hit the chateau. That's kind of the long and short of it. And once we push back these Dutch Belgians right here, which should happen fairly soon, we'll go ahead and adjust our positioning just a tad here. And we want to get that line battalion involved in the fight. So once again, we have to take command and advance these skirmishes. Let's get up. Let's get moving, guys. Let's get moving. Can't just stay stationary here. We want to get these line battalions involved. Move these guys up. Move these guys up. Get ourselves in position here to make the attack that is to come. We'll be crisscrossing. Stay in assault. All right, now you can see that in roughly 30 minutes time, we took the objective. Should have gained us about 1,000 points, which it did. And, oh, you gotta love these numbers. Right here, we still have close to 77,000 overall men here in our army. Guns still blazing, and we've caused nearly 1,000 enemy casualties. And that has to do partly with, I think, hitting this unit with cannon fire with some of these guns, and then the cannon fire that I think is hitting some of the units up here along the ridge. That's the only way I could really fully explain that. Because let's go back and let's look at Soy. Soy's been doing the heaviest fighting, right? So let's look at him. He hasn't killed 261 enemy. No, it's something else. So it must be my artillery fire taking its full toll. Quite sure we need to. Let's see. These guys need a rest. Yeah, these guys need a rest. So what we're going to do is we're just going to recall this unit of skirmishers. We'll put these guys over here. And again, we're not in any kind of huge hurry. This is real time. Like, they needed time to form up. They needed time to dress the ranks. They needed time to get the skirmish line where they wanted it, where it needed to be. To reform like I'm doing right now, to get everything where they wanted to have it. Boom, boom, here we go. Just in time, we got another unit to just come up right where we needed it to, right when we needed it to. Here we go. Let's get our next unit of skirmishers out. See, these guys are fresh. All we did was just replace our skirmish unit by bringing it back in, just taking a little time. You know, it's one of those things that when you're playing this game that you just kind of forget to really appreciate, is that it takes time, just like it did in real life, to do everything. And you're working with so many more advantages, not having to deal with all the couriers and all of the rest that they did in history have to contend with. Communication breakdowns. So the time that it takes you to do all the stuff that I'm doing kind of adds to the authenticity of the experience as it relates to how much time it really took to send the orders, to receive the orders, and to move an attack forward in 19th century warfare. It was a slow-moving game, but it was deliberate. It was always pushing. It was always, you know, evolving through, like I was talking to you about before the battle started. And this is a common theme, you know, that it's a marathon and not a sprint. This is going to be a battle with some moments of, you know, just kind of blah, where there's this unit here that's just kind of holding it down over here. They're still shooting. They're still in action right here. They're still in action. I think there's actually a little action going with some of the troops in the Hougamont, the Chateau itself. But here from these bushes, they're going to be in action with this foot guard battalion here, which is a potential problem. No lie. We may need to address this. So what I think I'm going to do here, this unit has seen some combat already. That's all right. I'm going to go ahead and get him. I'm going to go ahead and get him in line right here. And we're just going to be ready to, well, we need to double click that. We need to double click that for sure. So they're bringing out some skirmishers from the Chateau and this foot guard battalion out on our left. So I think we're going to need to extend our left a little more. I We're going to need to bring these guys out. They're going to want to bring some skirmishers to the party. Tell you what, I'm going to do something here that might seem a little gamey. I mean, it's not necessarily. This is where I would criticize some players that I've seen online. Not harsh criticism by any means, but just some general criticism about how guys will get wrapped up in the infantry fight, and they'll forget about how you can use cavalry. Here, let's see how our units over here are doing. They're resting still. We're going to go ahead and move them forward. And we're going to just, we're going to engage with. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie, this is a tough nut. This is going to be a bloody prize right here. This wall right here, even with just those 2 units on it, is really going to be hard to take. As you can see here, the balance is now swinging back in the enemy's favor. I'm talking about the losses, so we still need to advance and get these guys up to where they're actually in action, because we just need the firepower at this point. And you got to be kind of scientific about this game. All right, so we're within firing range now, but we're just kind of on the outside. You know, that's, I think, an important thing to specify here. Guys firing at 148 yards. So we're just going to pepper these guys for a little while. The skirmishers are going to take some heat right here. Oh, these guys are actually still resting. So let's go ahead. These guys are shooting. These guys are resting. That's a really strange. Alright, so we've got this here. Let's get these guys formed up. So we've got a stable line here, and what I was going to do here was grab two squadrons of this light cavalry here, and we're just going to bring it down. We're going to double quick it. We need to get him here sooner rather than later. It's just a situation where formation control becomes important in a fight, especially against troops like this. These are very well trained, well disciplined troops. You can already see they're getting the best of it. That's just unfortunate for our guys, but we can't let them sneak around and flank us. So, but what we have to do here is try to get them in a position where they'll switch into square, and it should happen if I bring my cavalry up close enough. We'll walk them up. We'll walk them up. Come on the flank here. Now our cav's going to be getting bombed by this artillery over here on the ridge, which they've added more batteries. By the way, so we take a look at the map. I always kind of pull back out and check it. I always add all the units on the map to make sure that I can. You're watching so many things at once here, so you gotta make sure you're seeing all of it the best you can. So here we go. Boom. All right, now that's going to give me the upper hand in this firefight right here. Yeah, we're doing all right. These guys. Oh, yeah, that hasn't increased much from what it was. Here's that. Holy moly. That was a big volley. All right, these guys are getting creeped. We're gonna go ahead and just bring them back. This line is just doing fine all by itself back here. We'll come back and check and see how their damage is looking here in just a minute. Because one move I want to go ahead and make. So this is just a tactical move, and man, oh man, oh my God. So here, what I'm about to show you. So I will detach. I love horses. We're gonna limber up. See, we're getting bombed here. That little puff of smoke. And here we're getting bombed here too. So we've lost 2 guys. We just want to kind of keep moving. That's the best we're going to be able to do, because we want to try to keep that square in place. Now, we are going to... Oh, no. Okay. All right, we're going to have to take command. So we're going to take command, and we're going to run these guns right up here. And we're going to run them. This one, same thing. And it's going to run right here. And what I love is how fast these things go when they run. Look at how fast he's going. It's fast for the cannons in this game when they're limbered up. This horse artillery is just booking. And by comparison, we could have a little fun with it. I could show you the same thing with a foot artillery. We'll bring him up here, and we'll double quick him. Let's see how fast he goes. That's as fast. That is as fast as he can go. Going double quick. We're going to detach him. So we've got our gun here. We're going to unlimber. We're going to take it off of take charge. We're going to unlimber. Take it off and take charge. Here we go. We got gun. Oh gosh, we're losing guys just standing here. 13 guys down on cannon fire. See, we're just getting bombed. Guys on their horses taking fire. Look out! These guns are probably taking fire. Matter of fact, we really should cover those guns. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take another 100 man unit. Skirmishers over here. This line battalion can spare the guys. And we're just gonna come out here. We're just gonna go in front of these guns right here. That way, the guns aren't getting shot up. And this gun fired without using canister. Now that's strange. There we go. Boom. Canister fire right here. Now we're gonna move this flank up. just like that. We'll have this guy do the same. This fight over here is heavy. It's heavy. 137 yards. Open up on them foot yards at 137 yards. All right. We got this gun right here. See, it doesn't move that much faster. All right, we're 20 guys down. We're 13 guys down. This gun was one. Let's unlimber. Let's use canister shot, you silly guys. Use canister shot too. We'll break up this square. Oh, they came. Oh, that was a bad move. That was a bad move. Because in comes the cavalry. Boy, oh boy. That was a bad move. Well, tactically speaking anyway. No one who's getting more of my guys killed than needs to be in terms of my cavalry just standing here, taking cannon fire. So, we're going to call it a job well done by our light cavalry out here on the left. We're going to bring them back. We're going to reattach all these guns. And we're going to just send them back. Just send them all back. Ain't no reason for them to stay out here. Getting isolated, getting in trouble. Taking back off, take command. And these guys will be in better shape here before you know it. So, we haven't gotten rid of those skirmishers out way off to the left, but they got rid of our skirmishers, that's for sure. We're not having a great time of it over here. I told you this wall right here is just tough. These guys are still in action, but they're not they're not taking any losses. They're not hitting anybody either. So we're gonna call this good for now. We're gonna go ahead and retreat for now. I think we're going to bring these guys back into the battalion. This unit here, pretty tired. This unit's spent. They're coming back. I think we can bring this unit here, hold the line, and then these guys, they're going to have to help out over here. I'm thinking we may have to try to figure out a way to flank them. Get around this way. So what we're going to do here, we're going to bring this unit in behind my main line. Let's bring my brigade commander here. Let's detach everybody else in the brigade for the time being. Okay. That leaves us with these 3 attached. Okay, we're going to detach. We're going to take command of these guys because we don't really want them detached. We're going to take these guys off, take command. These 2 will still be our main front. We're going to just reform into our main firing line. We're going to have this unit pulling up behind them, and they're going to be ready to swing out across this field here. And I'm probably going to run them. I'm probably just going to have them bolt for this line of shrubs right here. That's what I'm going to do. Still got this firefight over here with the skirmishers on the left. And we're going to go ahead. Oh, my goodness. I tell you, this position down here, I've actually done well on many occasions with this position here. But I tell you what I'm going to do is these guys are going to pull off the line. These guys are going to reassume that position. Go ahead and run them there. Double quick it. Double quick it. Double quick it. Taking some casualties on the way in. It's alright. Still holding strong with 3rd out here. 3rd Battalion, 1st Line Infantry. 3rd Battalion, 2nd Line here. We're gonna get some skirmishers out. And voila, we have ourselves a fresh battalion ready to go. Just like that. Just like that, folks. And here is our earlier battalion, a little tired, but still, give him some time to chill. He'll be ready to go. And in the meantime, so again, you have time. That's the thing that everybody who's playing this game, who, you know, hasn't been at it a while, maybe hasn't studied the period as well, doesn't really understand. You don't have to rush to do anything in this game. You know, in the fights that you have, in the battles that you have in this game. So. So they just go back, we'll reform there. So in the meantime, as I was just getting ready to mention, as you have the time, these guys now are kind of rested. They've gotten some rest. They've been chilling back here for a minute, and now they're ready to advance. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and get our skirmishers ready to head out. They got a little bit of a rest, so you back. So that's like it happens in combat all the time. You back off the front line for just a bit, give yourself a blow, and then you know, then you got to get back to it. Advance 100 yards here. Boom. We're just going to have the brigade move up. These skirmishers are out of whack. They need to stay in the plan, but they are definitely not in a great spot. I'll tell you what, sometimes that AI will just run away with things. And you'll be in a world of trouble. So, on our way to trying to take Hougamont. Get in range here with this line battalion, really in range, and then just stop. Because our flanking maneuver is what should get us what we're looking for, which is a breakthrough. We want to try and force breakthrough here at Hougamont. Oh, this foot battalion's back. So we're going to have to fuse. We want to go back. These foot guards, they're not going to let me off easily, but they're also not going to come up into the mouth or into the teeth of those cannons either. So, me being outflanked here by him coming around this way is just, it's not likely. He could come up that way, but he would get torn to shreds by canister fire. And so, really, my line is safe. Here he goes. So he's now turned to face smartly. And over here, we're back into our hot action. Now, this unit here, we'll get them positioned. What I'm thinking I'm going to do with these guys is I think I'm going to split them in half. Okay, they're just trying to get closer. We got this unit ready to go. They're resting. By the way, we're going to reattach. What we've got here. Just going to reattach everybody, just in case at some point we have to reform the brigade. So, oh man, this foot guards could be a problem. Let's get the loot down. Alright. I think we'll be good here on the left at Hougamont. These guys, you want to take command and then you want to split off half. Alright, so the first unit's going to go right here. We're just going to run. Second unit is going to go here, and we're just going to run. And we're just going to get there with these guys as fast as we possibly can. Now remember, this is all just still Soy's brigade, all by itself. And it's been how long? Almost an hour. And Soy's brigade's been engaged the entire time. This is something you don't see the AI pull off very often. You don't see a lot of human players pull it off very often either. Because everybody's in such a big dang hurry. And that's just not the way that 19th century combat worked. And it's kind of the long and short of it. There were big moments. There were intense moments. No doubt about it. But there were also lulls in the fighting. What's going on here? So, outwinded. Alright, so doing okay. We're doing okay. We'll go ahead and continue this maneuver around here. We're probably going to get, yeah, we'll get hit by cannon fire. Lost 6 guys. Double quick it. We want to make sure we don't get too many guys killed doing this thing. And we'll continue to be bombed on, even while we're presumably in the confines of this area here. Go ahead. Bring this unit across into the enemy rear. While they're preoccupied with my main attack here. Anybody who would criticize me right now, it's an hour into the fight, and I, quote unquote, haven't even taken Hougamont yet. Again, you kind of also forget how long it took in the historical battle for them to take Hougamont. I think it was 4 p.m. before the French were actually able to say that they took it. So we're losing quite a few troops here. This battalion. Going up one by one, fairly 13. Still no casualties inflicted. There we go. There's one. So these guys are 10 and 5. They're firing into the rear of this fella. He's just up here. This wall. You get a universal defensive benefit just by having guys up on it. So it's a little unrealistic. Over here on the left. Foot guards. Yeah, these guys are taking it to the teeth. These guys are well rested now. There's the good news. Run them there. Since they are well rested. Ow! 97. Alright, get out of there. Oh my goodness. And it's probably mostly because, 122. These cannons right here. That's what that is. Woo, man. That hurts. That hurts. These guys are in a snug position right there. They're in better shape. We're just going to have to bring these guys back. They are in a bad spot. They are just in a bad spot. We're going to have to bring them back. Save them. Try and save them. Run. Run. They're going to exhaust themselves running this sprint back to the main line, but by God, it'll save lives. Man, this attack this flanking attack is not going how I thought it would go. And this is, again, this is part of the beauty of this game. Looks like I was out of range here. You know, I think maybe I made a mistake there. I think I was out of range, and these guys weren't firing here. That's freaking weird. There we go. Now we're shooting here. And now we'll have some fire coming down from two sides. So that may make all the difference. Although we're starting to really take some casualties here in this part of the battalion. These guys have gotten back to where they're safe. We'll have to tuck them in. Then we go back to the left. We'll bring our brigade commander out. Because he's going to be needed over this direction more than here. So we're going to just, this time we're not going to detach. We're just going to take command of everybody else in the brigade so that they won't follow the order that I'm about to do. So they're all taking command. Those foot guards are trying to move down toward my impregnable line. Soy will... So I've still got him selected. So Soy will reform these two battalions right here. And we'll form. Cut him off of take command. Now that's interesting. So when I click to reform, he puts them in their original brigade. Oh, no, that might be a glitch. And I'll tell you why. You know what? No, the reason that is, I just figured it out, is because you have to. You can't just do the take command. That's because you have to detach. Oh, interesting. Oh gosh. Looks like the flanking movement on the right has met with all-out disaster. Holy moly. That did not go well. Well, those guys will be detached when they get back. Ooh, that was not good. Alright. Well, that battalion's going to be chilling for a while. Alright. Now, let's get this back in order. There we go. Oh, man. Yes, that's good. Alright. So we'll be in much better shape here. When you form up like this, there's actually a significant advantage. You get a support bonus your troops do. And the volume of fire. Instead of there just being one battalion, you know, like this, kind of hanging out here, all by itself. You get a consistent front fire. So we're going to go ahead here. And you know what? We're not going to worry about skirmishers. We're just not. We're just going to let these lines duke it out. Those are foot guards, and so we probably want to stay. These guys are going to get shot. These guys are probably. Hero gun and just literally bring him right there. And we'll just be annoying with it. We'll just be annoying with it. Bring our hero gun. He's not horse artillery, so he doesn't move as fast. If you remember that right. Oh, hey there. But they're making their way. Oh, and look at that. We don't even need them. Psych. Never mind, guys. You can head on back. You're good. Thanks for the help, though. Alright. Now we are left with a big what to do about this situation with Hougamont. Because we are not getting the best of it here. Right now, this is proving to be a nut that is too tough to crack. And boy, oh boy. Just don't know. This is when we start to consider whether we're going to bring it in. This is actually maybe a good stopping point for this video. I think so. While we ponder whether we're going to bring Bowden in and how, because it may be time. Soy, yeah, he's down about a third of his men now. Now let's look overall. As you can see here, we're down a little over about 1,400 men. To closer to 2,800, 2,700 allies. So we're doing good in terms of the overall loss ratio. Points are at 19, 18, so 1,900 around there. We want to take the objective. Boy, we're going to have some things to think about. This is a juncture where I think it would be good to save and ponder, perhaps. And we may come back to it here. We'll see you on the next one. Banks 60s. Signing out for now. Appreciate you watching. This is fun stuff. Fun for me. We'll see you on the next one.